15 years we'd agreed to be child-free. Then my wife, Victoria, brought home fraternal twins. "Don't get the wrong idea, Sincere," she said. "I just fulfilled Ethan Blackwell's dream. The children will be raised under my name, but you'll be their father too. This way, we also have something to tell Mom and Dad." I looked at the woman I'd spent 15 years with, turned around and walked out of her world forever. It had been 15 years of marriage when I received a call from the international school, leaving me somewhat stunned. An enthusiastic female voice came through the phone. "I've already emailed you the enrollment forms for Leo Ainsworth and Luna Ainsworth, Mr. Gu. Please review them, and if everything is correct, just submit them." My heart pounded. I was about to deny it, but on impulse, I murmured an "okay" and hung up, immediately checking my email. Seeing Victoria Ainsworth's name listed under Mother, my mind went blank. The children's father was her first love, Ethan Blackwell. The immense shock left me reeling for a long time. After confirming the information, I rushed straight to Victoria's company, desperate to know the truth. When her secretary saw me at the door, she was visibly startled. "Mr. Gu, what brings you here?" Secretary Linda Lynn and I had known each other for a while, but this was the first time I'd seen such panic in her eyes. I just nodded. "Just passing by." As I moved to enter, Linda quickly blocked my way. "Sir, there's a guest inside." I scoffed lightly. "What guest can't I see?" "Linda, are you sure you want to stop me?" Linda stood firm but silent. Her attitude said everything. Pushing past Linda, I went straight in. "Victoria." She turned abruptly, hastily ending her call and motioning for Linda to leave. "Sincere, what are you doing here? Did you miss me?" Seeing her still putting on an act, I gave a cold laugh and threw the printed documents onto her desk. "Give me an explanation." Victoria's face turned pale upon seeing the enrollment forms. She took a deep breath. "That was just an accident, Sincere. You are my husband, that's undeniable. It's just 2 children." My response was a slap across her face. I put all my strength into it, snapping her head to the side. It quickly started to swell and turn red. "Victoria, you lied to me." "Was it me who didn't want kids?" You know the reason. My frayed nerves finally snapped, anger written all over my face. Victoria gasped for breath, her sharp gaze softening. "It's my fault, Sincere, but we're not ordinary people. 2 children won't shake your position." "Why?" I looked up, demanding answers. "If the school hadn't called me, how long were you planning to hide this? They're 12 years old. Why specifically 12, 13 years ago, Victoria went abroad for a year for research. It turned out she went to have Ethan Blackwell's children. Victoria moved to hug me, but I shoved her away violently. "Don't touch me." Her eyes dimmed with pain. "Sincere, I know I was wrong about this. I just fulfilled Ethan's dream of being a father. That year you had the accident, my mother pressured me to divorce you. Ethan found me and said he could help. I agreed. Don't worry, the position of Mr. Gu is still yours, and only yours." I took a step back, utterly disappointed. "Victoria, you've disappointed me deeply." I shook my head and turned to leave. Victoria looked like she wanted to say something but didn't pursue me. In the early days of starting our business, Victoria angered someone who sent thugs after her. I took a knife for her. That wound didn't kill me, but it robbed me of the ability to father children. At that time, my mother-in-law, Eleanor, indeed had complaints about me, and Victoria was caught in the middle. But somehow, she suddenly stopped pushing the issue. Now I knew why she already had her grandchildren pitiful me, kept completely in the dark, thinking I was so happy. I was the real fool. After returning home, I quickly assessed our joint assets, including shares, and had a lawyer draft a divorce agreement. Then I packed my belongings, left my wedding ring behind, and walked out. Victoria deceived me. Did she really think the title Mr. Gu would hold me captive? I wouldn't keep someone who lied to me after marrying Victoria. I had stepped back into a supporting role, but that didn't mean I lacked capability. I called my assistant, Alan. "That overseas project we discussed last time, we can start it now. It will be solely ours, with no connection to the Ainsworth Corporation." "UGE." Alan hesitated. What about Miss Gu? I'm getting a divorce. Victoria has illegitimate children. Prepare for the division of assets. Alan was shocked but immediately set to work. Our lives were too entangled. Victoria wanted to save face and keep holding on to me. Impossible sharp pains shot through my chest. Victoria's words felt like daggers, shattering the composure I had maintained for years. After consulting a lawyer about the divorce, I hired someone to discreetly investigate Ethan Blackwell and the two children. Unsurprisingly, Victoria had protected them well. What I hadn't expected was that she had placed them in Seaview Manor. Seeing the information, my heart clenched painfully again. Our 15-year marriage. From the day of my accident, Victoria's heart had changed. It must have been difficult for her, acting for over a decade, juggling two families, enjoying domestic bliss while keeping me in the dark. A bitter smile touched my lips. The ache deep in my heart quickly spread, becoming almost unbearable. Just as I was about to make a call, Victoria returned. Seeing me sitting on the floor with the divorce papers in front of me, Victoria flew into a rage. Sincere Clark, you want a divorce? Just because of those two children? I thought I made myself clear. Mom and Dad already know. Are you still threatening me with divorce? At that moment, the pain in my chest was so intense I was breaking out in a cold sweat, unable to speak. All I wanted was to get to the hospital. My face pale, I whispered, "Take me to the hospital." Victoria fell silent. I looked up at her. I said, "Take me to the hospital first." Only then did she realize something was wrong. As she started towards me, her phone rang. Victoria glanced at the screen and immediately answered. Clutching my chest, I felt wave after wave of palpitations. Victoria. Victoria hastily hung up. "That was the hospital. The kids are injured. I have to go right away. We'll talk when I get back." She turned and rushed out. I couldn't hold on any longer and instinctively dialed emergency services. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The doctor held my chart. Sudden heart attack. A few minutes later and you wouldn't have made it. A wave of fear washed over me. I almost died. If I hadn't managed to call for help, I would be dead. The thought that Victoria nearly let me die to rush off to her two illegitimate children turned my heart to ice. My resolve to leave hardened. After the doctor left, I sat up and checked my phone. No calls from Victoria, not even a text message. An entire night had passed since she left. A new day, and I needed to start a new life. I checked out of the hospital after 3 days. As I was completing the discharge procedures, I ran into Victoria in the lobby. A girl, who resembled her strongly, clung tightly to her hand. "Mommy, please don't leave me, okay?" "Okay, sweetie. Mommy will come right back after finishing this." She looked up and saw me. A flash of panic crossed her face before she quickly walked over. "Sincere, what are you doing here? Can't I be here? I told you, don't worry about the children. Your position as Mr. Gu won't be shaken." Suddenly, the girl beside her, Luna Ainsworth, burst into tears. "You're a bad person. You stole my mommy and made my daddy sad. You're bad. Go away, go away." She came forward and pushed me hard. The push made me stumble back, and the pain in my chest flared up again. People around us started pointing and whispering. Victoria stood silently, her expression grim. I stepped forward and slapped Luna across the face. Luna fell to the ground. Victoria exploded. "Sincere Clark, are you crazy? She's just a child. How could you hit her?" Of course, a man who can't have children himself would be this ruthless. Victoria's words plunged into my heart like a knife. I couldn't help but sneer. "Yeah, I'm ruthless, but that doesn't stop you lot from being shameless." "That's enough." Luna clung to Victoria, sobbing quietly. "Mommy, don't be angry. It's my fault. I was just so upset. Daddy said you'd be with us eventually, but this uncle keeps clinging to you. I just wanted Mommy to stay with us." I clapped slowly. Impressive. Truly Ethan Blackwell's daughter. Like father, like daughter. Playing the innocent victim card so well, Victoria couldn't take it anymore. "Haven't you had enough? She's just a child." She pushed me back forcefully. A surge of anger rose within me. Meeting Luna's triumphant gaze, I turned and slapped Victoria. "Victoria Ainsworth, control your illegitimate daughter before we're divorced. Keep your bastard brat in line. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I, Sincere Clark, am no saint or pushover. I don't fall for these games. Whoever hurts me, I'll hit back." After landing the slap, I turned and left, ignoring Luna's screams, Victoria's angry shouts, and the murmurs of the onlookers behind me. I didn't care about any of it, but I hadn't noticed anything particularly wrong with the little brat's health. Ethan wanted to use the children to pressure me. Fine, let him have his wish. That same day, news of Victoria's marital affair spread like wildfire online. Photos of Ethan Blackwell and the twins were exposed. My mother-in-law called, screaming at me. "Sincere Clark, you can't have children yourself, so you won't let my daughter have them either. How dare you treat Luna like that? You get back here and apologize." Apologize? A bitch and her bastard? Was I wrong? Tell it to the court. "Old woman, your comfortable days are numbered. Tell Victoria to wait for what's coming." I hung up first and instructed my lawyer to file the lawsuit immediately. Those 3 days in the hospital weren't idle. I wouldn't give up a single cent of my share of the joint assets with Victoria. I even got ahead of her, seizing control of the public narrative. Ethan Blackwell appeared in interviews, crying about not being a homewrecker, but my marriage certificate completely debunked his claims. I also leaked the school enrollment email I had received. He'd been the other man for over a decade. There were too many cracks in his story. Even if Victoria claimed she was just fulfilling his dream of fatherhood, I didn't buy it. If he wanted to be a dad so badly, he could have gone to a sperm bank. 3 days later, Victoria returned. She looked resentful and also exhausted. "Sincere Clark, are you satisfied now? I've arranged for the children to go abroad, and I've sent Ethan away too. As you wished. I'll issue a public apology now. Will you help me just this once?" I looked at Victoria. Even now, she thought I was just being domineering, unable to tolerate the 2 children. I scoffed. "Victoria, do you think I care about the title, Mr. Goo? I know you only care about me, now that the threats are gone. If the company collapses, you won't fare well either, Sincere." She stepped forward, grabbing my hand. "Help me. Clarify things." "How?" A flicker of hope appeared on Victoria's face. "Just say, we divorced long ago." Hearing this, I froze for a moment, looked at Victoria, and then suddenly burst out laughing. "All right, sign here." I handed her the agreement. Victoria's expression darkened. "I didn't want a divorce, you just want to protect them and resolve the company crisis, right? Sign it. That's the only way they'll believe it." Victoria hesitated for a long time but finally signed, not even bothering to read the contents. After signing, she moved to embrace me, but I stepped aside. "Let's keep our distance, Victoria. I can't accept this right now." Her hands froze midair. She then nodded and went to the guest room. I handed the signed divorce agreement to my lawyer, breathing a sigh of relief. Leaving her, we would never see each other again. Victoria seemed to forget that I, Sincere Clark, always keep my word. She thought signing the divorce papers was just me agreeing to help her cover up the truth, but I would never compromise myself. That evening, the Ainsworth Corporation issued a statement. Victoria specifically attached our divorce agreement. I laughed. She really couldn't wait, no matter. I took out my copy of the agreement and tagged her online. Free at last. Do not disturb. Then I blocked her. Victoria sighed outside my door. I knew she was restless, but I didn't open it. After hesitating for a few minutes, her footsteps faded away. The sound of a door closing cut off all connection between us. Netizens speculated wildly. There was a divorce agreement, but no official divorce certificate. Ethan Blackwell still couldn't show his face publicly. I could get divorced, but Ethan Blackwell wouldn't be entering the Ainsworth family home. Waking up, I immediately booked a flight to France. Just before leaving, I sold off all my shares. Then I instructed my lawyer to sue Ethan Blackwell, demanding the return of marital assets he had received. Knowing Victoria's capabilities, Getting the official divorce certificate was a trivial matter. I cooperated with her, got the money, but I wouldn't let Ethan Blackwell off the hook either. Once everything was settled, I flew abroad. The day I left, Victoria went back to her family's old residence early in the morning. The reason was simple. The children couldn't get used to living abroad and were fussing to come back. Mrs. Ainsworth couldn't bear to see them unhappy and brought them back. Upon seeing Victoria, Mrs. Ainsworth started nagging incessantly. "I told you long ago that Sincere Clark was no good. You insisted on having him back then. And look what happened. It's such a mess now. The children suffered, you were affected, and now you're divorced. Hurry up and marry Ethan Blackwell." Victoria was extremely irritated. "Mom, what are you saying? Sincere agreed to cooperate with me to help the company through this crisis. Didn't we agree they should stay away for a while to let things cool down? Why did you bring them back? What else could I do? Luna is still having nightmares after being hit, and Leo is being mocked at school. When have our Ainsworth children ever suffered like this?" "All right, Mom. We'll talk about it later." The company just stabilized. Sincere isn't the type to take things lying down. If he gets truly angered, it could lead to mutually assured destruction, and none of us will benefit. Mrs. Ainsworth rolled her eyes in annoyance, then beckoned the two children into her arms. "Victoria, let me tell you, these two wonderful children are the hope of the Ainsworth family. If Sincere Clark dares to lay a hand on them again, I absolutely won't be polite."
"I know, Mom. He won't."
Victoria also felt I had overreacted, but Luna had been out of line that day. "But Luna, you can't be so impolite in the future." Luna pouted, and Mrs. Ainsworth immediately became defensive. "Our Luna did nothing wrong for over 10 years. Sincere Clark occupied the position of Mr. Goo. He should have stepped aside long ago." Mrs. Ainsworth continued to pressure her. Victoria felt a headache coming on. She had already gotten me to cooperate, but her mother was still being difficult. She had already planned it out, release the divorce agreement, stabilize the situation, then act according to circumstances. Victoria rubbed her weary temples, thinking she should buy me a gift on her way back. Meanwhile, hiding in a corner, Ethan Blackwell witnessed this scene, his face darkening. 12 years their children were already so big, yet Victoria's heart was still with me. What was so great about me? Ethan bit his lip, feeling resentful but helpless. His only option was to curry favor with his future mother-in-law. After leaving the old residence, Victoria went straight to a high-end mall and selected a pink diamond. She remembered I loved collecting diamonds. Back when we had no money, even a simple plain band from her could make me happy for a long time. After careful selection, Victoria returned home with the pink diamond and flowers. The house was dark. Usually I would be home at this time. Where had I gone? Sincere? No response. Married for 15 years, we had always lived here. Everything in the house bore my mark. She turned on the lights. The place felt cold and empty, as if something was missing. She looked around and finally realized my things were gone. A terrible premonition rose in Victoria's heart. She rushed to the bedroom. In the closet, my side was completely empty. Her heart sank. Victoria quickly pulled out her phone to call me, only to find the number was no longer in service. She trembled violently and immediately called Linda Lynn. "Find out where Sincere Clark went, quickly." How could her number be disconnected? The panic in Victoria's heart grew stronger. She remembered my face, full of disappointment, when she had convinced me to cooperate with the already divorced narrative, and the desolate, dead look in my eyes beneath the fury when I discovered she had children, as if I were looking through her at our younger selves. How much they had loved each other back then. Even after learning I couldn't have children, Victoria had never thought of giving up, but she had broken her promise so quickly. Victoria slapped herself hard. Twice just then, Linda Lynn called back. "Ms. Gu, I've found out. Mr. Shen went abroad, but his exact whereabouts afterwards are unknown. Whatever it takes, find Sincere. Go now," Victoria screamed. Feeling like she was about to break down, She needed to ask me, face to face, why I could really let her go, let go of all the years of love between us while Victoria was searching everywhere for me. I was already overseas with my team, deep in negotiations and battles. By the time everything settled, 5 months had passed. The branch company was operating smoothly. Alan and I faced quite a few challenges abroad, but starting anything is difficult. Only now had things truly stabilized. My young assistant Alan and I lay on the beach, sunbathing and sipping cocktails. He couldn't help but sigh. I never thought I'd see the day: blue skies, white clouds, beaches, beautiful women. It's unreal. UGE, have you ever thought about having an international romance? I chuckled. An international romance might be too much, but admiring the view is fine. I'm not ready to step into marriage right now. Who said anything about marriage? Just dating is fine too. Look at you, rich, handsome. Your potential date so young, so vibrant, whatever she's after. You happen to have it, it's just dating. No harm done. Hearing this, I laughed. Turning my head, I saw a figure stumbling towards us in the distance. My smile froze. Alan seemed to notice something was wrong, turned his head, and was shocked to see the newcomer, Victoria Ainsworth. How did she find us? I swear I didn't leak your location. I patted his arm. It wouldn't be that hard for Victoria to find me, though she was slower than I expected, taking a full 5 months to track me down. She stumbled forward, ran towards me, and then suddenly threw herself down, kneeling right in front of me. The action startled me badly. Victoria, it's not a holiday or festival. Why are you kneeling to me? I'm not your elder. This is too much. My teasing remark made Victoria shake her head. She said seriously, "Sincere, please come back with me, okay?" I looked at her as if she were an idiot. Go back? Victoria, are you asking me to go back and be a stepfather? Sorry, not interested. No, it's not like that. I told you, the children have been sent abroad, and I drove Ethan away. Please don't be angry anymore. Don't leave me again, okay? I can't bear this torment. She grasped my hand, pleading earnestly. Looking at her, Victoria had lost a lot of weight in just 5 months. She seemed to have made an effort with her appearance, but the usually proud and aloof woman looked utterly haggard now. She looked truly pathetic. I didn't want to say much, just shook my head at her. It's too late. Everything is too late. Don't forget, we've already publicly announced our divorce. No, we haven't gotten the official divorce certificate yet. We only signed the agreement. I scoffed. Victoria, have you forgotten? Money talks. The divorce certificate was obtained long ago. Your copy is probably with Mrs. Ainsworth. Why don't you go back and ask her during my first month abroad, Mrs. Ainsworth contacted me. I flew back, got the divorce certificate, and am now genuinely single. But Victoria didn't give up. No, I want to start over with you. We were married for 15 years, Sincere. I don't believe you can be so heartless, just discarding me like this. I found it rather laughable. She was the one who gave up first. Saying these things now was meaningless. I pushed her away and walked off. Victoria tried to follow, but my bodyguard stopped her. Did she really think I'd come abroad alone, unprepared? Victoria became like a clingy pest, hovering around my hotel, my residence, and even showing up at my company. When she saw that Alan and I had started our own company, her brow furrowed deeply. She intercepted me as I was leaving work. Sincere, I knew you'd do well even after divorcing me, but I still want to tell you, you are the only man I've ever truly had in my life. Your company. Its business is similar to mine. Sincere, you still love me, right? I was speechless. You produced 2 children with Ethan Blackwell, and you still say I'm the only man? Victoria, stop being disgusting, all right? Victoria's face fell instantly. No, I have no feelings for him. I just wanted children. The doctor said back then that you couldn't have children, but the Ainsworth family needs heirs. I had no choice. I glanced at her, had the bodyguards keep her away, then took a picture and sent it to Ethan Blackwell and Mrs. Ainsworth. They acted quickly. A week later, Victoria completely disappeared from my sight. I didn't dwell on it. She and I were finished, no ties anymore. As long as she didn't bother me, perhaps I could pretend not to know. But if she harassed me again, then I wouldn't hold back. After she left, my life returned to normal. A year later, I returned to the country with Alan. On the very first day back, I saw news of Victoria's wedding. I couldn't help but smile. So they finally pushed her into marrying Ethan Blackwell. But it was just a public announcement, no grand ceremony. Understandable. At their age, another big wedding might seem inappropriate. I shook my head, said nothing, and headed straight to the company with Alan. Unexpectedly, the first project back put me in direct competition with Victoria. Learning this sparked my competitive spirit. If nothing else, when pitted against Victoria, I had to win. I had already sold off my shares previously, causing Victoria significant losses. Now, facing me again, she was naturally no match. Yet she still dared to approach me. Victoria arrived dressed impeccably, the very picture of a successful businesswoman, a stark contrast to the last time I saw her. Seeing me, Victoria nodded. "Mr. Shen." "Ms. Gu, is there something you need?" "Mr. Shen, you're too kind. I've been trying to schedule a meeting with you for ages. Finally managed it today. You're clearly a very busy man." I glanced down at a file. "It's all right. The company's performance is quite good." There was a slight pause in the air. Victoria shifted in her seat. "I hear Mr. Shen is also competing for the Waxy project. Would you be interested in collaborating? Two strong companies joining forces is better than one fighting alone." Hearing this, I raised an eyebrow. "But I believe I can definitely win on my own. Victoria, your current situation is even weaker than I imagined. Although I was abroad, I kept up with things here. Your marriage to Ethan Blackwell caused quite a stir within your company. Even if Ainsworth Corp. competed against me alone, I doubt you could win." I was speaking the truth. Those projects handled by the overseas branch in the past 2 years had made me extremely wealthy. My company had a strong reputation, and the old clients I had secured when Victoria and I were together had become my friends. Victoria had kept a lover for over a decade. Her illegitimate children were already grown. And now she dared to suggest a powerful alliance? Honestly, I truly looked down on her. I bluntly exposed Victoria's reality. Her face instantly darkened. She could only smooth her clothes. "You don't understand the domestic investment environment. You won't be able to navigate it. I know you have issues with my marriage to Ethan, but the children are older now. They need a father. I only did it to give them peace of mind. If you're unhappy, I can." "No need, Victoria," I cut her off directly. "Whatever your situation with Ethan Blackwell is, it has nothing to do with me now. You need to understand we are strangers." I pointed towards the door. "If there's nothing else, you can leave. Sincere Clark, must you treat me this way? We were husband and wife after all. Do you have to be like this? Victoria, maintain some dignity." Victoria looked upset but said nothing more, clenching her fists before turning and walking away. It seemed this woman was still living in the past. What about the investment environment? As long as you seize opportunities, anyone can make money. After she left, Alan came over. "UGE, we've already connected with the people at Waxy. Once the proposal is finalized in the next couple of days, we can sign the contract. Is Miss Gu still dreaming? Doesn't she know that speed and strength are what matter now?" I shrugged. Even Alan understood, but Victoria didn't. I could only say she was the one truly falling behind. Help me schedule dinners with these people. I'm back. Some relationships need nurturing. I was serious about maintaining client relations. If Victoria wanted to fight me, she'd have to see if I was willing to play along. In situations like this, winning or losing hinges on a single thought. There was absolutely no way I'd align myself with her. Unexpectedly, before Victoria even had a chance to declare war on me, her own backyard caught fire. A video of her arguing with Ethan Blackwell was captured and uploaded online, much to the amusement of netizens. Under the night sky, Victoria and Ethan stood on the street. Ethan actually slapped her. Enraging Victoria, who screamed abuses at him. Netizens' comments were sharper than knives. Wasn't it supposed to be true love? Mother of his children, how could you hit her? Cheated during marriage, now you have to crawl through it to the end. Please don't divorce. Don't inflict yourselves on others. UGE is the cool one. Dump the trashy woman just like that. Making money with his new company is what matters now. UGE, don't you dare go back and eat those rotten leftovers. I was amused and publicly stated I would absolutely not go back for rotten leftovers, my response. Thrilled the netizens. Meanwhile, I used the opportunity to further strengthen ties with old clients, and even Waxy awarded the project to us. When the news broke, many in the industry started asking who I was. Upon learning I was Victoria's ex-husband, they burst out laughing, making jokes at Victoria's expense. They even openly mocked Ethan Blackwell at a cocktail party. Ethan had never endured such humiliation. He was Victoria's first love, separated initially because Mrs. Ainsworth disapproved of his family background. He only got his foot in the door later because of the children, banking on their status, but he hadn't achieved much over the years. In this circle, connections and family background mattered most. He couldn't help Victoria, nor could he brush off the ridicule with a calm smile. His face visibly darkened. I remained indifferent to all this. Just focus on doing my own thing and making money, everything else is fleeting. But Ethan couldn't let it go. He complained to Victoria, leveraging the fact that he was the father of her children, and as he complained, I stood nearby, watching. Seeing Victoria's expression grow increasingly strained until she finally exploded at him, drawing everyone's attention. Victoria lost face and stormed off. The crowd started gossiping. Look at that, married for such a short time and already like this. What's the use of a long marriage? He clearly can't handle himself in high society. All he thinks about day in and day out is getting his kids to fight for the Ainsworth fortune over petty cash. The Ainsworths? That family is full of shrewd operators. Yeah, even Sincere Clark wasn't favored by them back then. Someone gestured for the speaker to be careful as I was present. The person pouted, turned, saw me, and quickly put on a fawning expression. I wasn't angry. He wasn't exactly wrong. Back then, even I was looked down upon by Mrs. Ainsworth because I couldn't have children, considered a blight on the Ainsworth family. But upon my return, the narrative completely changed. I became the ruthless and decisive rising star in business while Victoria's company continued its decline. At this cocktail party, I was the main event. The news spread. Victoria never came to see me again, but Mrs. Ainsworth sought me out. We met at the coffee shop downstairs from my company. Seeing her again, Mrs. Ainsworth was still elegant, but her gaze towards me was filled with humility. I heard you were back quite a while ago. Haven't seen you in so long, you look the same. Heard things are going well for you recently? Quite well. I took a light sip of coffee. With no one pressuring me, I'm naturally carefree. A flicker of unease crossed Mrs. Ainsworth's face. She sighed. I thought bringing Ethan in, having someone look after the children, and letting Victoria have her family of 4 would bring harmony and prosperity, but I didn't expect him to be such trouble, egging the children on to bother me, demanding money one moment, property the next. I truly didn't realize his ambition was so vast. He even wants shares. Sincere, after thinking it over, I realize you are the best match for Victoria. I regret it. I shouldn't have pushed them to marry. Can you come back? I promise I'll even give you the company, okay? I was slightly stunned. Give it to me. Yes. I see Victoria can't compare to you now. All the Ainsworth Corp. Shares given to you. You become the chairman, as long as you and Victoria remarry. I stared at her incredulously. Mrs. Ainsworth, you must be joking. They are already married. They just went through the motions, didn't even get the official certificate. They aren't legally married. Even the children are only temporarily under her name. I haven't granted them any substantial inheritance rights. She grasped my hand. Sincere, after all these years you were the best. You always put the family first. I truly regret it. I couldn't believe the once haughty old lady was now humbling herself before me. I laughed, subtly withdrawing my hand and shaking my head. It's too late. What? She was shocked. Are you married? I'm not married. I put down my coffee cup. But I will absolutely never go back. Frankly, Victoria doesn't deserve me. She froze, her face instantly turning ugly. I smirked slightly. Ainsworth family matters should be resolved by the Ainsworth family. After all, I'm just an outsider. With that, I stood up and left. She remained seated for a long time, unable to process it. I scoffed inwardly but paid her no mind. In this world, no one waits for anyone in the same place, especially not after she betrayed me. From that moment on, I never once considered reconciling with her. After this incident, Victoria lost all face to approach me again. She and Ethan continued their cycle of arguing and making up, apparently without ever getting legally married. But none of that concerned me anymore. After completing several consecutive projects, I gave myself a long vacation and flew abroad to travel. I had barely left when Alan called, telling me Victoria wanted to see me. When she learned I had left, she apparently broke down. I ignored it. Victoria and I would likely never meet again in this lifetime. May we each find peace in our separate lives. Victoria tried to find me a few more times afterward, but unfortunately I was either abroad or traveling elsewhere. After that, I never saw her again. After several assaults on its business, Ainsworth Corp. finally buckled. Victoria couldn't sustain it and had to step down, becoming an ordinary shareholder. Her income naturally couldn't compare to before. Gossip columns frequently featured pictures of her and Ethan arguing. Even when their fights landed them in the hospital, they didn't separate. As the children grew older, they also frequently caused trouble. Victoria changed their schools several times, leaving her overwhelmed and exhausted. I never saw her again. Even though we lived in the same city, Victoria never reappeared in my life, because she was too ashamed to face me. The gap between us grew wider and wider. Victoria finally understood that I truly didn't want her anymore. For the rest of my life, I only want to live for myself, to be the master of my own destiny. My fiancé stood me up 7 times for our marriage license, so I left her the 7th time Victoria Bellwether stood me up for our appointment to get our marriage license. I decided to cut off all ties with her. If she was at a gathering with friends, I wasn't. When she was invited to perform at the alumni event, I left before her act. When my company chose to partner with hers, I immediately resigned. Even on New Year's Eve, when she came to my parents' house, I made an excuse about visiting friends and left. Blocked number. Unfriended. The goal was a clean break. I didn't contact her, and she couldn't find me. For the better part of the last 30 years, I had been obsessively in love with her, caring for her wholeheartedly. It wasn't until I was stood up for the 7th time at City Hall that I finally woke up. I didn't want to live like this anymore. Even being alone was better than guarding an empty house day and night. I waited for Victoria Bellwether at the Marriage License Bureau in City Hall until the staff was closing up. At first, when I called, she just said she was busy and told me to wait. After another 2 hours, my calls went straight to voicemail. Her line was constantly busy. The marriage application form in my hand was crumpled into a tight ball. "Sir, we're closing now. Do you still need to process your marriage application?" one of the clerks asked kindly, seeing I had waited all day. I snapped back to reality and gently shook my head. "Thank you, but no, I won't be needing it." As I walked out of City Hall, a few clerks leaving work whispered as they passed me, "I think I've seen him a few times before. Always comes alone to get married. Now that you mention it, I remember him too. Seems like he's always waiting for someone who never shows up." My face remained blank, but inside I felt utterly torn apart, bleeding drop by drop. I couldn't lift my head for shame and quickened my pace subconsciously. This was the 7th time I had come to City Hall to wait for Victoria. Just as I stepped outside, ready to hail a cab, Victoria appeared. She ran towards me, panting, a hint of apology on her face. "I'm so sorry, Sincere. Something came up suddenly at work today. I'm not too late, am I? I gave a silent, humorless laugh. The last time we were supposed to get married, something came up at work. The time before that, still something at work. Never mind the past incidents, she was using the same excuse again. I was too tired to even call her out on it, just shaking my head. You're too late, the clerks just left. Victoria listened, feigning indignation. She glanced at her watch and then pointedly blamed others. Honestly, these people, always leaving right on time. Can't even wait one extra minute. Saying this, she stepped forward, took my hand and placed it on her chest, which was rising and falling rapidly. There was traffic, you see. I ran all the way here. I'm exhausted. I stared at her blankly, fighting back the stinging sensation in my nose. No one is a fool. I could guess whether she had actually run or not. Biting my lower lip, I questioned her for the first time. If you really ran such a long distance, why aren't you even sweating? Her forehead was completely dry, not a drop of sweat, not even a hint of moisture. The moment I said it, Victoria's expression changed. She frowned, her eyes flashing with anger, her voice rising several notches. What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying I'm lying? That I deliberately avoided getting married to you? I ran so hard I'm exhausted and you don't believe me. Sincere Clark, I never thought you could be so heartless and cruel. She was remarkably good at turning the tables, but her hysterical anger only confirmed my suspicion that she had a guilty conscience. Rubbing my temples, I suddenly lost the desire to pursue it further, to get entangled with her anymore. Victoria Bellwether, whether it's true or not, you know best in your heart. With that, I turned to leave. Her cold, merciless voice followed me. Fine, I know then. Let's see you really leave me alone this time. Don't come crawling back, begging me to marry you. I want to see how long you last this time stubbornly. I didn't look back, but I had bitten my lower lip so hard it drew blood. I had only taken a couple of steps when a text message arrived. Sincere Clark, didn't manage to get the license again, huh? What a pity. But don't worry, looking forward to the 8th time you beg Victoria to go. I read the message over and over, 3 times in total. Even being as slow as I am, I knew he was provoking me. Although I suspected the reason for Victoria standing me up, receiving Ethan Lawrence's text still brought an indescribable sense of suffocation. Victoria and I were childhood sweethearts, practically inseparable growing up. Ever since I was little, I declared I would marry her when I grew up. I remember saying it shortly after starting elementary school, and both my parents and her parents burst out laughing. She always treated me like someone very close. It wasn't until university, when she brought another male classmate home for the first time, that things changed. That person was Ethan Lawrence. The way they interacted made me realize that perhaps Victoria's closeness to me wasn't love. So, I panicked. After graduation, I jokingly suggested we get our marriage license. Although both sets of parents agreed, Victoria refused me flatly. Over the next 7 or 8 years, I asked her dozens of times, off and on. She only agreed 7 times. And each of those 7 times, she stood me up. Every single time, Ethan Lawrence would send a timely, provocative text message. My phone vibrated again. Assuming it was Ethan, I instinctively moved to reject the call, but then I saw the caller ID. It was my friend Chloe. She was inviting me to a party tonight. Without thinking, the first words out of my mouth were asking if Victoria would be there. Sincere, don't worry, I know about you and Victoria. I already told her ahead of time she'll be there, then count me out. If she's going, I'm not. Maybe next time. Chloe's cheerful chatter suddenly stopped, as if shocked by my words. Everyone knew I'd been chasing Victoria for years. Shamelessly bringing her flowers at graduation, racking my brains to find her suitable jobs, devotedly cleaning her place, doing her laundry, cooking for her. Once at a friend's birthday party, someone remarked that Victoria must have done good deeds in a past life to deserve someone like me. But Victoria just snorted dismissively. He's like a persistent pest, so annoying. Who cares? Back then, I didn't care. I always thought she would change for me, but now I cared. After hanging up, I sent a group message to several close friends. From now on, if Victoria Bellwether is invited to a gathering, don't include me. Having done all that, I took a cab back to my rented apartment. After showering, I started packing up everything in the apartment that belonged to Victoria. I put it all in a suitcase and called a courier service to send it to her place. Just as the courier arrived, my friend Chloe Davis showed up. Clearly having heard something was up. Seeing me with the packed suitcase, she blurted out, "Sincere, you're not leaving town, are you?" I managed a weary smile and opened the suitcase for her to see. "What are you talking about? This is all Victoria's stuff. I'm sending it back to her." Chloe stared for a moment, then watched the courier take the suitcase away before asking incredulously, "Sincere, didn't you say you were getting your license with Victoria today? How did it suddenly?" She trailed off mid-sentence. She knew about Victoria standing me up and quickly put two and two together. Her eyes practically shot fire. "Did Victoria stand you up again? No wonder you sent that text. It must be Ethan Lawrence pulling strings behind the scenes. Come on, I'll take you to confront her right now." Despite my protests, Chloe dragged me to the venue where their party was being held. Just as we reached the door of the private room, we heard Victoria's voice. "Oh, stop teasing. After all these years, no matter what harsh things Sincere says, he always comes back to me. He's just mad today. Once he cools off, he'll be back, following me around like a puppy." Outside the door, I bit the soft flesh inside my cheek until I tasted blood. All these years I had taken care of her wholeheartedly, wanted the best for her, only to find out I meant nothing to her. Chloe saw the redness in my eyes and patted my shoulder. She was about to push the door open, but I stopped her. At this point, I didn't even want to see Victoria's face again. I pulled Chloe away, ready to leave. Just as we took 2 steps and reached the corner, Victoria and Ethan Lawrence came out of the room. Ethan quickly spoke up. "Victoria, you've had too much to drink. Don't say so much. If little Sincere heard you, he'd be heartbroken. Isn't his heartbreak exactly what you wanted? Every time you make me agree to go get the license with him, and then make me stand him up at the last minute. Little Juju, why are you so bad?" As Victoria's words hung in the air, the tears welling in my eyes finally overflowed. So, I was just a clown. A pawn in their game, the butt of their cruel joke. No wonder the first time Victoria agreed to marry me, she showed no excitement or happiness at all. I was just too caught up in my sudden joy to notice the disdain in her eyes. Ethan pulled Victoria into his arms, playfully tapping her chest. "What do you mean I'm bad? You were the one who came up with the idea in the first place. Well, back then, I was just trying to cheer you up. It was a last resort." As they spoke, they started kissing, oblivious to anyone else. I felt like my soul had left my body. Numbly, I pulled Chloe out of the hotel. The cool night breeze felt like it froze my heart. "Sincere, you're just too kind. That's why that shameless pair thought they could mess with you like this." Chloe fumed. I managed a faint smile, but as soon as I opened my mouth, it filled with the thick, metallic taste of blood. "It's over. From now on, Victoria and I are completely done. No connection whatsoever." After much persuading, I convinced Chloe to go home, and I returned to my rented apartment. Just before I got home, the courier called. He said he was at the designated address, but the recipient's phone wasn't reachable. I remembered Victoria always rejected calls from unknown numbers. I asked the courier to wait a moment, hung up, and called Victoria. She sounded like she was at a bar. It was noisy, but her smugness was unmistakable. "Calling me back already? Where's that courage you had when you ditched me on the street earlier today?" In the past, I would have shamelessly apologized, coaxed her, said all the right things. Now, I just stated flatly, "I had your things sent to your doorstep. Remember to pick them up when you get back." Victoria immediately became even more smug. "Oh, Sincere, what did you buy me this time? Trying to butter me up? Weren't you being all tough sending messages to your friends that you wouldn't attend any gathering I was at? Now you know how to suck up to me again?" I didn't say another word, just hung up the phone. Just before I hung up, I thought I heard her ask what I had sent her, saying she'd have to see if she liked it before deciding whether to forgive me. I let out a dry, humorless laugh. Right. After being her lapdog for so many years, I clearly had zero dignity left in her eyes. But it didn't matter. She would wake up eventually. After that day, I had no further contact with Victoria. I deleted her number and unfriended her on all social platforms. A few times friends invited me out, and I always asked beforehand if Victoria would be there. Eventually, everyone tacitly understood and would only invite one of us to any given gathering. Soon, the day before the university's alumni event arrived. Chloe had already called, asking me to go with her. As an outstanding alumnus, I had also received an official invitation. I hadn't expected Victoria to attend as well. But thinking about it, her grades were always top-notch in school, and she'd helped provide job opportunities for the university after graduation. It was perfectly normal for her to be invited. When Chloe and I arrived at the university, it was packed. Looking at the program, I immediately saw Victoria's name. Her performance was scheduled 7th. After watching the 6th act with Chloe, I made an excuse and left. As I walked out of the auditorium, I faintly heard someone calling my name from behind, but I didn't turn back. A moment later, a message popped up on my phone from Mr. Harrison, my former university advisor. Sincere Clark, why the hurry? I called out to you several times, but you didn't answer. Your girlfriend's performance is next, aren't you staying to watch? Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Something came up and I had to leave. Also, I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend. After sending the text, I couldn't help but shake my head. I guess my relationship with Victoria was so public during university that even the advisor knew about us. What I didn't know was that Mr. Harrison was standing with Victoria at that very moment. She saw my reply. In the dim light of the auditorium, her expression was complex and unreadable. After leaving the university, I went to my office. I had left in such a hurry for the event that I'd forgotten my bag. At the office, I discovered that a project proposal had been drafted. More importantly, the partner listed on the proposal was Victoria's company. I immediately called my boss, Mr. Peterson, confirmed the situation, and then directly submitted my resignation. Mr. Peterson, I'm resigning for personal reasons. Sincere, this is so sudden. I was planning on having you liaise with the other party for this project. Thank you, Mr. Peterson, but that won't be necessary. I don't get along with that company. After hanging up, I opened my computer and wrote my resignation letter right there. Since the company was partnering with Victoria, the best way to avoid her was obviously to leave. After placing the resignation letter on his desk, I left the company. Back at my rented apartment, I noticed the hallway light was on. My apartment building had 2 units per floor, and the apartment next to mine was vacant, so the hallway light was rarely on. Taking a few steps, I saw Victoria smoking in the stairwell. She must have been waiting a long time. The floor around her was littered with cigarette butts. Luckily, I was cautious, and she didn't see me. I immediately turned and pressed the elevator button. The moment Victoria stepped out of the stairwell, the elevator doors were already closing. I faintly heard her yell, "Sincere Clark, that's you. Isn't it you came back? You're in the elevator, aren't you?" after the elevator went down, to prevent Victoria from following too quickly. I pressed the buttons for every single floor before letting the elevator ascend on its own. It wasn't the most considerate thing to do, but it worked. With Victoria staking out my apartment, I went to a nearby hotel to spend the night. Just as I finished checking in and turned to head upstairs, Victoria rushed in. She was panting heavily, sweat dripping from her forehead. Her face was flushed from the exertion. "Did someone just check in here? Was it a man named Sincere Clark? Answer me quickly, answer me." Hearing Victoria's shouts, I instinctively paused on the stairs. I was afraid the front desk staff at this hotel would give me away. Fortunately, the staff at this upscale hotel had basic professional discretion. The receptionist politely refused. "I'm sorry, sir, but that information is confidential guest privacy." Unexpectedly, Victoria, usually so composed and ladylike, started shouting in public, completely losing her cool. Don't talk to me about privacy. I'm his girlfriend. I have the right to know if he checked in here or not. Hearing this, I couldn't help but let out a sarcastic smile. Girlfriend? What an unfamiliar word. Forget girlfriend. In all these years, Victoria had never even properly told me she liked me. Sir, perhaps you could call him. If the guest is indeed staying here, you can provide me with the room number. I can verify it, and if it checks out, you may go up. The receptionist by the book response left Victoria frozen on the spot. She stood there for a long moment, speechless. I had blocked her number long ago, even unfriended her. How could she contact me? I didn't stick around to hear the rest. Carefully, without making a sound, I went upstairs to my room. Just as I lay down on the bed, Chloe called. She excitedly asked what I had done to make Victoria so frantic. You wouldn't believe it when I got her call. I could tell something was wrong immediately. She actually asked if you were with me. That damn bitch deserves a taste of her own medicine. Sincere, I'm telling you. You absolutely cannot soften up this time. I felt a bit helpless. She really was persistent. This was the first time in all these years she'd shown this much interest in me. Unable to reach me, she had even resorted to calling Chloe. Don't worry, I won't this time, I reassured her. I didn't do much. She was just waiting outside my apartment. I saw her when I went back, so I dodged her and came to a hotel. Make sure you don't tell her where I am, I specifically reminded Chloe before hanging up, but I completely underestimated Victoria's tenacity. Somehow she got hold of an unknown number and called me. I answered with a tentative hello, and she immediately launched into a barrage of words. Her voice was agitated and hoarse. Sincere, where are you? Why are you avoiding me? Do you know how hard I've been looking for you? I waited for you for ages. Why won't you even see me? Hearing her voice, I didn't say a word. I simply hung up. Then, as I was blocking the number, she quickly sent a message. If pleading didn't work, she'd try threats. Sincere Clark, you dare block me? Avoid me? Believe it or not, I'll never look for you again. Unblock my number right now, and I'll consider forgiving you. This time I read the texts, then block the number. Shortly after, a new contact request appeared on WeChat from an unknown profile. I'd learned my lesson. I didn't accept, I just blocked and reported it. After doing all that, I actually slept surprisingly well that night. Until the next morning, when I was woken up by my phone ringing. It was my colleague, Alex Miller. Sincere, why'd you suddenly resign? You didn't even say anything before you left. We wanted to throw you a farewell party. It's okay, Alex. It was for personal reasons, so I had to leave quickly. Just as I said that, Alex lowered his voice. Sincere, someone came looking for you early this morning. Heard she's a partner from another company. She asked everyone if they had contact with you. Then when she heard you resigned abruptly last night, she refused to sign the contract and just stormed off, saying she would only sign it with you. I bet the boss is going to call you any minute. As Alex finished speaking, Mr. Peterson's call came through. I knew Victoria. This was exactly the kind of thing she would do, using the contract to pressure my boss, trying to force me to show up. But I had already resigned. Whether the contract was signed or not had nothing to do with me. I switched my phone to silent, pulled the covers over my head, and went back to sleep. When I finally woke up, my phone was filled with a dense list of missed calls and messages. Even WeChat had 99 unread notifications. I glanced through them. The calls and texts were all from Chloe and other friends. There were also some from an unknown number. From the content of the texts, I guessed it was Victoria again, borrowing someone else's phone. After blocking that number too, I opened WeChat. The screen was covered in red dots. Many friends were asking if something had happened to me. Feeling somewhat exasperated, I simply posted an update on my feed. I'm doing fine. Just completely done with certain things and certain people from the past the moment I posted it. Chloe liked it instantly, then called me again to complain. Sincere, you're finally awake. You have no idea. Victoria seems to have lost her mind. Chloe sounded exhausted, making me curious. But after hearing the story, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Victoria had contacted every single friend who knew me. When she still couldn't find me, she resorted to harassing Chloe continuously. From midnight yesterday until this morning, she kept calling Chloe. When Chloe didn't answer, Victoria went straight to her apartment and started knocking on the door. Sincere, tell me, isn't she crazy? I told her you weren't here, but she's convinced you're hiding at my place. She demanded I open the door so she could search for you, like I could just magically conjure up a Sincere Clark for her. I laughed helplessly. No wonder so many friends were asking if I was okay this morning. I hadn't checked out of the hotel room yet, planning to see how things played out today. Given Victoria's frantic behavior yesterday, she would definitely be staking out my apartment again today. That evening, I asked Gary Smith, the property security guard, to check for me. Sure enough, Victoria was right there by the elevator entrance. She even almost mistook the guard for me, throwing her arms around him in a hug. Initially, I was going to ask the guard to make her leave, but unexpectedly, Victoria played the victim card. Later, when the guard called me back, he was actually trying to persuade me. Mr. Lin, your girlfriend knows she was wrong this time. Why don't you just forgive her? You should see all the cigarette butts on the ground. If she keeps smoking like that, she's going to get sick. The guard's words turned out to be prophetic. A few days later, I heard from Chloe that Victoria was sick. After staying up all night for several nights guarding my apartment, combined with the cooling weather, she developed a fever and was hospitalized. Apparently, she was even calling my name while unconscious. I almost laughed. After messing with me so many times, now she was putting on this deeply devoted act? Several friends subtly asked if I wanted to go visit Victoria, but I refused them all. I could easily picture Victoria, propped up in a hospital bed, getting friends to try and persuade me to visit her. Now that Victoria was in the hospital, I could finally return to my apartment. Just as I finished checking out of the hotel, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Ethan Lawrence. Sincere Clark, you actually have some nerve. You think playing hard to get, this push and pull tactic, will make Victoria fall for you? She's just not used to your sudden disappearance. Wait until she adapts. Then you'll see how worthless you really are in her heart. Seeing the text reminded me that I had forgotten to block Ethan. Indifferent to his taunts, I simply blocked his number. Finally, back in my rented apartment, just as I lay down, my mom, Helen Clark, called. She had probably heard about Victoria's hospitalization from Victoria's mother, Eleanor Bellwether, and was calling to ask about the situation. I didn't hide anything, just honestly said I didn't know much. My mom was instantly surprised. Aren't you two together? How can you not know she's sick? The next second, I immediately denied it. Together? Mom, we haven't seen each other in ages. Don't spread rumors. I plan on finding a girlfriend eventually. There was a pause on the other end. Then my mom's voice rose sharply. It took quite a bit of effort to placate her and end the call. I knew Victoria's game plan pressured me through my family to meet her. If friends couldn't persuade me, then she'd start with family. Sure enough, early the next morning, my mom called again. She said Victoria was quite ill. Her parents, Arthur and Eleanor Bellwether, were busy with work and couldn't take care of her, so the task fell to me, her childhood friend who had always looked after her. Naturally, I refused on the spot. Mom, stop worrying about things that aren't your concern. Victoria Bellwether has a boyfriend. If she's hospitalized, her boyfriend will naturally take care of her. My going there would just complicate things. Okay, I'm busy right now. Gotta go. Without waiting for her reply, I hung up. I thought that would be the end of it. But Victoria really was using everyone she could, trying every possible way to make me appear before her. Not long after I hung up with my mom, a call came from the hospital. The caller was Dr. Evans, Victoria's attending physician. As soon as I answered, he asked if I was Victoria's family member. I denied it repeatedly, even saying I barely knew her. But then through the phone I heard Victoria's weak voice struggling to speak. Sincere, I know it's you. How can you say you barely know me? We were about to get our marriage license. Why did you suddenly start ignoring me? I'm this sick because of you. Can't you feel even a little sorry for me?" Her voice became hoarse, choked with sobs. "I need surgery now. Can't you just see me one more time? What if I die on the operating table?" Then came the sounds of the doctor and nurses trying to comfort Victoria. It was just minor surgery. Talk of dying on the table was overly dramatic. I remained silent. When the doctor came back on the line saying they needed a family member's signature for the surgery, I refused point blank. First, I am not her family. Second, her surgery has absolutely nothing to do with me. Third, she has a boyfriend. You can contact her boyfriend. Victoria seemed to overhear this. She started screaming hysterically on the other end, calling my name unwillingly. You are my boyfriend. We were just about to get married. Sincere Clark, have you forgotten?" Of course I hadn't forgotten. How could I forget being played for a fool 7 times? I hung up immediately, unwilling to listen to her screams any longer. That evening, when Chloe heard about it, she called specifically to praise me, saying I was awesome. She said things like, "Cheaters deserve what they get," and urged me not to soften at the last minute. Just after I finished talking with Chloe, Victoria's mother, Eleanor Bellwether called me. Her voice on the other end held a hint of tears. "Sincere, did you and Victoria have some sort of argument? I heard you haven't seen her in a long time. And you didn't even visit her when she got sick this time? You won't even answer the doctor's calls." Hearing Mrs. Bellwether's voice, my heart couldn't help but soften slightly. Growing up, she had always been very kind to me. When we were in school, she always cooked delicious meals for us. Even after the first time Victoria played games with me and stood me up for the marriage license, when Mrs. Bellwether found out, she rushed over and gave Victoria a harsh scolding all evening. Mrs. Bellwether hugged me and said, "Sincere, don't worry. In this lifetime, I only accept you as my son-in-law. Otherwise, I won't even acknowledge her as my daughter." Back then, out of selfish reasons, I hadn't told Mrs. Bellwether that Victoria didn't actually like me, that the person she liked was Ethan Lawrence, that she stood me up because of him. But this time, I really wouldn't soften. For so many years, I had compromised myself for Victoria time and time again. This time, I wouldn't continue. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Bellwether. Victoria has her boyfriend with her. She doesn't need me. Besides, the doctor said surgery requires a family member's signature. I don't think I have any such relationship with her. That signature shouldn't be mine." I took a deep breath, making my voice firmer. "Regarding Victoria's matters in the future, it's more appropriate for you to contact her boyfriend. Otherwise, misunderstandings might arise. Mrs. Bellwether, I have something else to attend to, so I'll hang up now." After making everything clear, I ended the call. I believed Mrs. Bellwether understood my meaning. Sure enough, after that day, no one called me anymore. No one contacted me about Victoria's affairs. About half a month before the new year, Chloe dragged me to a party. At the party, friends started talking about Victoria. It turned out Mrs. Bellwether had rushed over to sign for the surgery after all. Victoria was still recovering in the hospital. Some friends who knew the inside story glanced my way. They mentioned planning to visit Victoria, bring her some fruit, and asked if I wanted to join them. But now, I felt incredibly calm. She could no longer stir any emotion in me. "No thanks, you guys go ahead. We're not close, we don't have any connection." After that day, I returned to my hometown. There were quite a few gatherings before the new year. Many classmates, knowing I was back, started arranging get-togethers. I attended several classmate reunions over consecutive days. At the very last one, I arrived half an hour late. Outside the private room door, I suddenly heard someone mention Victoria's name. "Victoria, you and Sincere were always inseparable, and childhood sweethearts, too. How come you're still not married?" "Yeah, we all thought you and Sincere would get married right after university graduation." My hand was already on the doorknob, but I paused. Inside, Victoria remained silent for a long moment before hesitantly mumbling, "Soon, soon. It's happening soon." The classmates immediately started teasing her. I turned to leave. Just then, the door was pushed open by Ben Carter, our former class president. Seeing me, his face lit up with surprise. "Sincere, you're here. We were just talking about you. And guess what? Your childhood sweetheart Victoria is here too. If she's here, then count me out. I have something else to do. Gotta go." I immediately rejected Ben's invitation. Without hesitation, I turned and left. Just as I stepped out of the hotel, I heard rapid footsteps behind me. I ducked into a small alley off the street. Victoria rushed past, chasing frantically in the direction I had been heading. As she ran, she called out my name. "Sincere, come out. Why are you hiding from me? You've been avoiding me for 3 months. Why won't you come out and see me? Sincere Clark, please come out." Just then, a man happened to walk by wearing clothes the same color as mine. Victoria, in her haste and distress, mistook him for me and rushed forward, hugging him tightly. The result was a slap across her face, and a crowd gathered around her, threatening to call the police for harassment. Amidst the confusion, I emerged from the alley and walked away, completely unconcerned, heading home. Victoria, trapped in the crowd, saw my departing figure and started calling my name again. "Sincere, don't go, wait for me." She tried to push through the crowd towards me but couldn't move an inch. I didn't know what happened to her afterward, nor did I have any interest in finding out. However, when I got home, my mom complained that since I'd returned, I'd been out partying every day and hadn't eaten a single meal at home. I immediately hugged my mom, acting playfully spoiled, and promised I would definitely eat at home tomorrow. The next day, seeing an extra plate setting on the table, I asked subconsciously, "Mom, why the extra plate and silverware?" "Your Auntie Zhao said Victoria is back. We haven't seen her in a while, so I invited her over for a meal and to ask how she's feeling." I frowned, quickly put a bit of food on my plate, claimed I'd already eaten, and slipped out the door. Just as I left the apartment complex, I unexpectedly ran into Victoria arriving, so I had no choice but to hide in the complex's garden to avoid her. Unexpectedly, I witnessed Victoria and Ethan Lawrence arguing. Ethan ran up from behind and blocked Victoria's path. "Victoria, why are you ignoring me? Is it because of Sincere Clark? Don't forget how many times you messed with him. No one in their right mind would forgive you for that." Victoria's face twisted, her eyes wide as she glared at Ethan. "Shut up if you dare mention any of that. Don't blame me for what happens." Ethan wasn't intimidated. He just laughed maniacally. "Now you're scared? What were you doing earlier?" "Oh, right, I forgot. Earlier you were clinging to me, saying you didn't want to get up. Now you regret it. Want your childhood sweetheart back?" "Victoria Bellwether, let me tell you, it's too late. Sincere Clark already knows everything. Why else do you think he suddenly disappeared and cut off all ties with you?" At his last words, Victoria slapped Ethan hard across the face, knocking him to the ground. Ethan, not backing down, lunged forward and grabbed Victoria's clothes. I actually got to watch quite a show. Eventually, passers-by in the complex pulled them apart. Victoria seemed dazed, muttering something under her breath. Even so, she refused to leave. She straightened her clothes, picked up her gift box, and continued towards my parents' house. After that day, I became extremely cautious, always inquiring about Victoria's whereabouts. Any place she frequented, I made sure to avoid beforehand. Even on New Year's Eve, when I learned Victoria would be coming over early for a traditional visit, I casually made an excuse and left. As long as I didn't see her, who cared if I wasn't home on New Year's Eve? Though later, my mom told me Victoria cried almost to the point of suffocat ion that day, sobbing, saying she was sorry, saying she regretted it, saying she wouldn't bother me anymore. I scoffed, telling my mom not to pay it any mind. After the new year, I terminated the lease on my rented apartment and chose to move elsewhere. On the day I was leaving by train, I unexpectedly encountered Mrs. Bellwether. It had been a while since I last saw her. She looked much more worn. She didn't have so much white hair before, but now it was visibly increased. Seeing me, Mrs. Bellwether didn't say much. She must have known what happened between Victoria and me. She simply reached out and gently touched my forehead. It's Victoria's loss. Sincere, you did the right thing. In that instant, I didn't know what to say. In the end, all I could manage was a simple, "Take care, Mrs. Bellwether." I didn't ask about Victoria, nor did I care anymore. Over the following decade or more, she and I never crossed paths again. Only occasionally did I hear from Chloe that Victoria had bought the apartment I used to live in, and that, from time to time, she would go to City Hall and just sit there all day. Too bad there are no second chances in this world.